Guys, what's up? Hope everybody's having a good day out there today. Welcome back for another edition of Mental Mondays. And actually, still heading back from the tournament right now. We drove like 8 hours yesterday with the kids, and we had some holdups and some traffic jams and that type of stuff. So we were still about 5 hours away from the house. So we decided instead of driving until 2 in the morning, we're going to stay all night and head back in the morning. But anyway, today what we're going to talk about as a topic is what I consider the levels of intelligence out there, which a lot of people may not consider. What I may consider what intelligence levels are different than a lot of people. So there's actually 4 aspects of intelligence that I want to go over, and I'm going to explain each one of those, why I think that they are a true measure of intelligence. So first of all, when you talk about intelligence, I think a lot of people equate intellectual intelligence with somebody being intelligent. And I don't consider that the true measure of intelligence, because I tell you right now, some of the most ignorant people I've ever met in terms of what I consider somebody being really intelligent are politicians and super wealthy business people. Just because somebody's rich or somebody's successful on the outside does not mean that they are an intelligent person. Far from it. It means they may have a certain skill set that allowed them to achieve some level of success, particularly in business or politics, but those people can still be extremely ignorant in the terms that I'm talking about. So anyway, there's what I consider intelligent people are based upon 4 things, and I'm going to go over each one of them. The first one I want to talk about is kindness. Kindness to me is a true measure of intelligence. It's a quality that stays with people. It's something that leaves an impact on people. Acts of kindness do not go unnoticed. I don't care who they are. And throughout the course of your life, the acts of kindness that you showed upon other people are remembered and honored. And every one of us, when it comes to showing different levels of intelligence that I'm going to talk about here, including kindness, we all have our good days and we have our bad days. Some days that you're just a lot more able to show the intelligence I'm talking about here, and some days it's just tough for us. Some days things aren't going right, whatever reason, you're just not in the flow, and sometimes it's hard to be kind. But people that are really intelligent, in my opinion, they understand the power of kindness, and that kindness can be completely random. It can be something that you learn. I mean, being kind is something that's taught to people a lot of times. Sometimes you're just gifted with it. Some people are naturally kind. Sometimes you have to teach people with it. I mean, one of the things I always try to teach our kids is like, instead of demanding something, they ask nice for it and polite and try to be kind with it. And you can never go wrong with being kind. I mean, kindness will allow you to achieve things that just simple acts of being kindness will allow you to achieve things that you simply can't with any other way. So there's a tremendous amount of power that comes with being kind. The second one I'll talk about is compassion. Compassion is sort of linked with kindness a little bit. It's a little bit different. Compassion is something that it's something that you sort of learn as you get older. So you can some people, are naturally more compassionate than others. Some people struggle with it a little bit. But one of the true measures of somebody that's a very intelligent people is they can be aware of somebody that is in need of some compassion on whatever level. And it can be something that's major, something going on in some person's life. It can be something minor. But, being able to sense when somebody needs to feel some compassion and needs to be shown some compassion, and then for that person to act upon that and show that compassion to another person takes a high level of intelligence, in my opinion. Again, it's very connected to kindness. It's sort of hand in hand. Most people, that I know are kind. They're also very compassionate people as well. The third thing we'll talk about is sort of related to that too, and that's empathy. Empathy, in my opinion, is a very, very critical element to being an intelligent person. empathy allows us to do so many things that can't be accomplished any other way. If you have the ability to put yourself in somebody else's position, you can neutralize so much in your life. You can take, a situation that would normally be very volatile, and if you are empathetic to that person that's maybe going through a tough time, you can diffuse a situation. I mean, I'll use an example for, let's say you're driving through traffic. I mean, you see some guy that's really driving erratically and goes by and flips you off, that something like that. Our first inclination is to sort of be defensive a little bit, but somebody that can really step back with a high level of intelligence would probably look at that person and say, that person is really hurting. That person's suffering from something. For that person to act like that, that's not a normal human behavior. To have to show that level of aggression, that person is probably in a great deal of pain on some level of his life. Now, that doesn't mean that you're an unconditional doormat to just let people run all over you. That's not what I'm talking about. But I think one of the things that shows a true level of intelligence is if somebody can take a deep breath for a second and sort of step back, and before you act or judge upon something, you try to be empathetic with that person a little bit. And this can be on any level. It can be something with, if you're close to a person and that person is, has had some type of a loss or major setback in their life. I mean, just being able to, to get down to that person's level and empathize with them is very important. But it goes well beyond that too. So first three: kindness, compassion, and empathy. Those are three key elements. The last one, and there's other ones too, but these are just four that are really important in my opinion. The last one is respect. And respect also goes a long way because, in my opinion, respect and dignity are super, super key elements in being an intelligent person. Because, first of all, every single person out there deserves to have a life of dignity and a life of respect. Now, a lot of times somebody, you have to earn respect to a certain degree out there, but I think it's a given if somebody can initially show somebody respect, that, right off the bat, like assume that, they deserve that respect, that goes a long way, and again, creating an atmosphere between two people that start off on a good foot. Now, obviously, if somebody, disrespects you or doesn't follow through with, that gesture you put out there, then you have to sort of recalibrate your approach to it. But if you respect people on every level, it just makes for such a better, peaceful life and a peaceful world. And, like the two big ones, in my opinions, are religion and politics. I mean, if everybody would just respect the other person's viewpoint and allow them to have that viewpoint without judging them or, demonizing those people for having a conflicting viewpoints, and if they just respect that that's their right to have that, just imagine how much more of a better world we would have here. Because it's, the last few years we've seen that disrespect amongst those two cultural divides grow tremendously out there. So anyway, guys, that's the four that I wanted to go off of. In my opinion, like I said, people that are smart in mathematics or that type of stuff, I think you're born with it. If you're smart and you've made millions of dollars, that doesn't mean, if you're quote, successful in society, and if you've made millions of dollars, that doesn't mean you're an intelligent person. You just may be really good at what you do in whatever level like that. But all the most intelligent people that I've ever met in my life, and some of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life, tend to be really old, and they sort of tend to fall into that same group, and they all exhibit these four categories: kindness, compassion, empathy, respect. Every single one of them do that. And when you admire somebody, admiration comes along with intelligence too. So most everybody out there that has these qualities are not only considered smart, but they're considered admirable too. A lot of it, I mean, you see a lot of old grandmas that have these qualities right there. It seems like a lot of the generation that is sort of passing us now, a lot of the generation where the people now that are in their, late 80s and 90s, they had a lot of these qualities there, sort of something taught that we've just lost it a lot. So anyway, hopefully we'll get back to the true levels of intelligence and quit, defining intelligence in the traditional norms. Not to say that like, scientific research and that type of stuff isn't a level of intelligence. Yeah, it is to that level, but from the human experience is what we're talking about. These are the ones that stand out far above any others that I can think of. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in for another edition of Mental Mondays. Hope that made you think a little bit. In other words, some of you guys may have knew that, some of you guys it may come to a surprise to you, but that's just sort of my opinion on the thing. So hope you guys are doing good. See you later.